What's up, everybody? How are you doing this fine evening? I'm doing well, and I hope you're doing well as well. And I'm very excited for today's stream. But before we dive into that, I'm Lex from Techies Reviews, and we're all about creating websites with low-code tools. For instance, using something like Elementor or Bricks Builder or another tool that we're going to look into today. So very excited for that one. And we'll also be looking at a weekly roundup where I share YouTube videos that I found interesting, some things at work that are very interesting to figure out how things work. Because at first I was a UX designer, and now I'm becoming more and more of a WordPress specialist, but not just for hobby, as a full-time employee. So there's a big things happening there where I learn a lot, and that's amazing. And lastly, there's some experiments that I'm running, trying out with the YouTube channel, but also with my own website, and I would love to share that as well with you guys. Hello, little brother, how are you doing this fine evening? Hello, Annemieke, how are you doing? And Ali, nice of you to join. It was so lovely that you created a video where you touched over things that are very important, and we're going to cover that first because I'm very excited about this one, because Ali is one of the people that are busy with creating a new Gutenberg solution, so to speak. You have GreenShift, and with GreenShift you will get a lot of extra elements to build your website out. The same goes with Generate Blocks and all the other Gutenberg plugins. They add a ton of extra options, and to be frank, I don't like that way of working. It would be nice that it is a little bit clean. So that's why I'm very excited about this plugin, and it is Blockera. I hope I pronounced it right. I listened to your message in X a few times, Ali, so I hope I didn't butcher it too much. But this is the Blockera site builder, and what it allows you to do is enhance the current blocks that are available in Gutenberg blocks. There's also some funny things going on in the way they need to fix something, and we'll be looking into that later. But first, let's see what they have right here. So they have a site builder, and Blockera 1 is a go-to block theme, and we're just going to look at the Blockera site builder today. And as you can see, there's a lot of things that has been added. Maybe I need to zoom in a little bit. If we turn off the block editor with Blockera, you see that there's a couple of settings available for you. You see that there's normal settings for the content itself, but also some styling options. And those styling options are, if you are a little bit of a person that creates websites using page builders or are used to using CSS, these can find to be very limited, to be fair. And Blockera solves that. But instead of adding a lot of elements, they enhance the current elements. The way they do it is putting settings in settings, but in styles, you see that there's a lot of extra options. For instance, the spacing, the topography, and that sort of things. And they also will include in the future animations. So very excited to look into this one. As you can see, they also allow you to create a responsive control. So if you want to have a more of a native feeling to Gutenberg blocks without adding too much things in there, I think this is a very good way of trying it out. There are some advanced options that are available, interactive states, so you can have hover states and other states as well. We're going to dive into that. You have ways of selecting blocks, and this is what I mean with a quirky way to manage something specific. And this has to do with how the core Gutenberg block solves things, and I don't think it's the best thing if you're just like me, a little bit of a developer-ish and want more of a refined control, but I think they solved it in a very nice way. They also allow you to add a WooCommerce block, but let's not just talk about it, let's just show it, right? And here is a live demo. Now, Ali asked me specifically to use the demo that is on their website. There's a free version available that you can download from the WordPress repository, but the demo that is available right here is the latest one. It is 1.5 if I remember correctly, and there we can try everything out. So here you have the WordPress theme of 2025, and here you have an option to use the Oli theme. The Oli theme is of course a very good one, so we're going to use it, and let's install and try it out. I'm very excited, Oli, to see what you guys have been up to. Now I've looked into it a little bit already, so we're very excited about that one. Yes, that is 1.5. That will be released in the next 3 to 5 days. Thank you for joining and taking your time, by the way, to to answer my questions. I hope it's not too late at your place. I don't know, where do you live and that sort of things, but I had some people joining my live stream, and they were like midnight for them, and I was like, oh, what are you guys doing? Go to bed. You need to sleep. You need to be fresh the next day. So here we have a first design, and I must compliment Oli Theme Builder for having such a nice theme already and having a lot of nice looking options. And if we open the side panel, you can see that there's a icon besides the core blocks that are available. And that is for making sure you understand that it is enhanced by Blockera. Or Blockera. The variables don't sleep. That's true. Just pour in another cup of coffee and you're fine. I'm drinking tea, by the way, so I guess I'm not a real developer right now. And also, I like my sleeps. So this is an indication that you can understand what block is enhanced. And to be fair, actually all of the blocks are enhanced. Now the custom HTML, which I can reckon, and the shortcode, are not enhanced at this time, and the navigation as well. But as you can see, almost everything has a Blockera block. And that looks very nice. Now, if we click on a setting, we are greeted with the new panel. Now we can disable it as well to just see what the differences are. Let's see, we can select, instead of advanced mode, we can go to basic mode. And this is what you usually get. Now, I do think I'm missing some settings right here. Maybe it's just me. And here you have the color and text and background settings that are normally available just by default. And that's where Blockera just comes in and make it a lot nicer. So you can add custom HTML attributes. For instance, a attribute key and value. I can't think of one right now, but at least it's available, and you can add multiple to them as well. So this is a very nice and welcoming option. And as you can see, it is also highlighted that there's something set. And if you click on it, you see on what place something is set. But all right, this is fun and all, but we want to make sure that we can make changes to our settings right here. Maybe we want a different spacing around our heading here. So let's go to our padding. And as you can see, this looks very similar to something like Webflow or that sort of things. And you can type in what kind of margin you want in there. And there's even shortcuts. An easier way to set those up. So if we want 30 padding or a padding of 120, maybe you're used to using something called variables. Variables allows you to have a granular control over your whole website, and you can press this star icon to open up all of your variables that are available in Oli theme, and soon there will also be a possibility to add custom variables. Now we can make changes, and when we change this value in one place, we can change it in all the places. So that's a very welcoming option as well. We also have the possibility to lock the vertical and horizontal things. Now I'm very... so locking them doesn't mean that they're really locked, but you enable the same values across the board. Now in this case, it is deleted. Let's see, we still have set it. And as you can see, it is now set across the board as well. And now this one is lost. I don't know why, but sometimes it happens for me. I think it is the lack of understanding how this works, but you can easily remove them as well if you would like to. Now there's also some typography changes that we can do. For instance, we want this to be a medium sized. We want a different line height, for instance, 1.5. And then we can select a value as well. So this is welcome that we have a lot of values that we're used to as web devs to select values that we need to create a website as we want to. There's also some more features and they can be hidden in two places. In the typography, you can see that there's more features right here, but some of them also allow you to select and deselect which values will be available for the user. So if you want to make it a little bit simpler, you can just press the kebab menu and select what you do or don't want to show. As you can see right here. If you want to add a nice box shadow, look at that, how easy that goes. But we don't want to add a box shadow actually, right? Let's see, then we can remove maybe a little bit of radius, but this allows you to create all kinds of designs. And it is also add attributes. That's a very good question. Can authors and editors be able to add attributes? Now, as you can see, you also have the brand color that can be selected from your... oh, that needs to be gone. I thought I closed it. Let me close it up for 1 sec, because having WhatsApp open right now doesn't make sense, right? If we're doing a live stream. Let's go there and end tasks. Bye-bye. You can also choose other colors that we can use for our variables. Now, I'm used to doing right click and then selecting something, but I can see that this is a way of indicating as well where you can add a variable. And it's very nice that it comes from the theme. So instead of having another place where you need to manage them, you have one place where you can manage them all, and they all are integrated. Now that will be different if you're using custom variables, of course, but in this case, it looks very nice. And I think this is rather easy to use, actually. It's very, very user-friendly if you know how those settings work and what they actually do. That's always the case, by the way. We can also change our layout, have different type of sizes. So you can change the max and min width. Those two are actually my most used values, because normally everything has a 100% width. And with min and max, you can just say, all right, this container needs to be a maximum of this amount of characters. For instance, I think this heading is a little bit long, so let's make it 20 pixels, but instead of 20 pixels, I want it to be 20 ch. 100 ch, no, that doesn't work. I'm used to be able to type in everything, so including the value, and then the selector picks up the version. And you can set it to some kind of overflow. Nice icons, nicely designed. You can change it to certain positions. So if we want to have a absolute position, you can set it up right here. You can say how much spacing it will use to absolute position. So that's very nice and clear also on where you can set the position and how many pixels it goes from the left in this case. Changing unit type by type is currently in the roadmap to be added soon. Thank you for clarifying. Yeah, so this is a very good point from Ali. This is still in development. So these are, I assume, stable versions. And there's a lot on the roadmap, and there's a few things that got me very excited as well. So we need to look at that during the stream as well. But as you can see, there's a lot of options that you can use. In the future, there will also be a way of adding a custom CSS code as well. Now, one thing that I had with Bricks Builder is that you have all the options. And as you can see, there's a lot of options here. And every builder does it a little bit different. For instance, where could I set my z-index? I would assume that it is somewhere in the position. Yeah, it is. And it's available with z-index. So well done there. Because with some tools, it's a lot of searching before you get to the right place where you can set certain settings. Maybe this will be the case when you will be adding all the settings that are available in CSS. But let's continue on. You also can add block states. And you can add a block state by pressing this button and add a new state. Now here you have all the states available. So you have hover, active, focus, visited, before and after. And this allows you to create elements or different states. And it looks pretty nice actually. It looks similar to the variation selections that you have. So for instance, when we hover, I want my color of my text to change. And we can do that very easily by selecting this one and putting contrast. And now we see that hover is active. But if we want our state of normal active, it is purplish. And when we hover over it with our mouse, you see that it changes color. That also can be done with the state of active. I didn't know that was a real state. You can also add before and after, so that's also very nice. But custom clause, what is a custom clause? So you can add a custom clause to it as well. Yeah. Maybe also have a custom selector somewhere. Parent clause, parent hover. So that's nice that it's already in there, that you don't have to think how can you set up the hover, and you have created a different one that wasn't your intention. And that sometimes happens with me. So this is a very nice way to see what is active and how the active state looks like. If we want to do anything before, you can see that we're using inner blocks, and we get into that very soon. But overall, this looks very easy to use and very included like a block actually is. Those advanced states are pro features and will be finalized in the final pro version. So that's a very good remark. Thank you. Advanced states like a specific selector, I guess, right? Please use hover for now, while the pro version does not release yet. Okay. So we can remove hover, this one, and hover is the only state that will be available when you're using the free version. And the paid version is, of course, using the other selector or the other states. Now, we're going to do something fun. Let's add a search. I saw this in the demo, so I want to touch upon this as well. We add a search bar right here. And as you can see, we have inner blocks selected because there are some blocks in the search value that we can't reach with our structure. We are not able to reach this label with another structure, so we can't make them look different. So how Blockera solves this is by adding a selector, a inner block selector, for example, for your label. What if we want this to be a little bit smaller? Then we can change its size. And as you can see, the whole selection is also a different color right now. It's the color red, meaning that you're doing some adjustments there. And if we want to go back, we can close this one, and here we are back. And you can see that we have a different design for it. Now, if we are going in here in our button, we can also change the spacing or maybe make it a little bit of a round button. So let's add some pixels or just a lot of pixels. And as you can see, we can create and define how this looks and behaves. You can also add states on here. So now we have a underline in our hover state, but I want to change the color because that's more user-friendly, that you can actually see something happening when you're hovering. So this is our normal state, and when we hover, you can see that there's another line and the color of the button changes. We can also add inner block, but I don't recall what that specifically does. But for me, for right now, for this demo purpose, it doesn't really matter perhaps, because this is the way you can just make changes to everything you see in a core block, whilst not everything in the structure is available. And it's a very welcoming thing. The same goes for adding just a simple hover state that is not available by default right now. And as you can see, there's some other states available as well that we can select style variations. And that's just really awesome. Let's see. Are there any questions? Not as of yet. We can also look into our WooCommerce settings, because we can make changes to WooCommerce layout as well, using different colors and using different things. So let's have a look. For instance, this section, again, in the structure, you see that you cannot change everything. And this is, again, the same way that they are going to fix it. You can select the blocks that are within the specific block. And it's just so smart that they did it like this. If we want to make it smaller and maybe a highlighted text, my favorite color of red. And there we go. We made the changes to the specific blocks, although we cannot reach directly to that specific block. I can imagine that this is a lot of work of doing extra. Figuring out what kind of blocks are available, and then having the virtual block selector doing the styling for those specific blocks. Now, if you're a little bit lost and for instance, you have set a lot of changes, and let's do this color to blue, and you go back and this is red, and you're not certain what kind of color you've set, then you can press it and you can see that there's customizations, and the customizations in this place is specifically for the desktop, for the hover effect and for the normal color. So if we press hover, we can see that the state is switched and that we have the blue color active. So it easily helps us navigate where a certain customization has been done. Speaking about certain customizations, here we can also change things depending on what kind of device we're on. So if we want to have a different look and feel, we can do that right here. And we can select maybe a greenish color for our mobile users. Maybe dark blue is better because the greenish didn't look that good. It isn't really user-friendly to have it like that. So now we have a state set for our mobile device, but also for our desktop. And if we switch to desktop and look into our customization, we see that there's a value set in desktop, but also on mobile version. And we can easily change that. Now, if you're not happy with all the changes that you've done, there's a one-click way of just deleting everything, and then it's all unset. And only this current version will be active, as it looks like. It's also nice that when you click on something and it isn't set, that you have some information about what will happen if you use this setting. For instance, the background clipping. I can imagine that not everybody is known how to use this and what this is. Overall, I'm pretty impressed actually with what Blockera does, and it is very intuitive actually to use. It's very simple to use if you ask me. It enhances the core blocks more than I would expect a block enhancer to do so. To be fair, I've never seen a block enhancer something like this, but I do like how it solves some things, especially where you have a block with a lot of settings in there that are not available in the structure. It's nice that you can just adjust it. Now, there will be a pro version in the future. And if you're interested in seeing Blockera Pro, you can join the waitlist right here, and you will get a message. And I've already signed up for this one. So that one Blockera Pro comes out, that you have something to look at. They also have built a nice community. And you can just go there by going to community.blockera.ai. And here you have all the things that are up and coming for the roadmap. You also have discussions, and it is a very active community. And here you see our man Ali as well. The one thing that made me very, very interested in, I don't want notifications, in Blockera was, let's see, the style variation manager. I was looking at Blockera and I was like, oh, this looks awesome. That it already uses the default blocks, not adding a top extra blocks that gets you confused. You get a lot of options, especially GreenShift is notorious for it. Although it is very flexible and allows you to create a lot of awesome things, it gets very confusing. What kind of block do I need to use for this specific thing? And is this the correct way of you working with it? Now, with using just the core blocks, Blockera makes it very easy, actually, and enhances what is already available. But for me, the style variations is one of the things that I was very excited about. What if you had a version that you are in control of every design aspect, so they can just say, all right, this is a style variation that is available. Now, if you don't know what style variations are, let's see if I can go back to my, let's launch another demo, shall we? Because it's just that quick. I'm sorry, Ali, if I'm going to put extra cost, but this one got me very excited. You can create style variations very easy, and I can't believe that there's no tool out there that does this actually in a simple way. This allows you to just create simple different kind of variations of specific blocks. For instance, your paragraph or your quotes or your style list. And this is how a potential way it could look, right? You could add your variation and then add your spacing in there and everything. If I remember correctly, in the code itself, the style variation is actually just adding a clause, but adding all these things in a theme.json is a lot of work. And having a visual way of doing this, it is just very, very nice. So as you can see, these are the things that they are thinking of doing, and I've already replied in that I'm very happy about it. This is, by the way, my personal very old freelance logo. But let me show you what style variations are, because perhaps you never used it. Zip, by the way. Hi, my graphic design. Hi, Dave, Dan. How are you all? Nice to see you guys. You always think that the Tuesdays is the Mondays, right? You have the case of the Tuesdays. Don't worry, Jimmy. I'm lovely that you're right here. So if we select our button, we see that here are our style variations, and these are actually put inside of the theme, so you don't have any control over them on how they specifically look, very specifically, right? No control over the hover state of that sort of things. You can only select a specific version that they have already created for us. Now, although a theme does a very good job of adding those, I think having more granular control over them does make sense. And seeing this solution that they have thought up makes me very, very happy and very interested in this version as well. I also commented in the community that this should be a plugin on its own. Just having a way of creating style variations for each block, and that's it. That's your product. And then on top of that, you have an extra way of making it possible for the end users, right? And the end users will be using the Blockera that we just saw and just featured in. But yeah, they are very open on what's on the roadmap, and Ollie, just got off from work. Nice. And as you can see right here, there's a lot of things that are coming and that are delivered. And Ollie said in a video that he recorded especially for me. I feel so special. It's very lovely that he did that for me. Let's see. It's not this Ali Abdal. Let's see. I don't know if you mind that I share this, but yeah, Blockera overview for Lex, and he made it just for me to explain the basic things that I need to cover and take a look at as well, because he's excited as well for his project as well. And he told in the video that he is actually a designer and made this plugin just for himself, and now he's sharing it with the world. And I really love the fresh breath of air, actually. Just enhancing what's currently already available. So with that being said, what do you think? Compared to something like GreenShift or Generate Blocks, would you find this interesting? For me personally, I do, and I'm very interested in seeing how this will continue on growing. So I will definitely follow the advancements that Blockera does. I'm very happy that instead of creating another place where there's a lot of similar blocks added, just enhancing what already exists. It just makes sense, right? I'm very curious also. I thought that I saw it on the roadmap for that there's something for the dynamic values. Yeah, see right here. Dynamic values will be available at some point as well. And this, look at that. This just looks simple, right? I hope you can make it as simple as this looks, but this just looks awesome. And having more dynamic fields inside, Ollie, you got me very excited about this one. Yeah, let me know, what do you think? And if you want to test it out, let me leave a link in the description and also in my live stream, in the chats. Let's see. I need to find where I can have it. Blockera, and then in products, Blockera Builder. And this is the link that you need to try it out for yourself. I was asking because of unfiltered HTML capabilities. Nice, Annemieke. Love that you're here, by the way. I hope you're doing well, but you already said you are, right? You're doing well. So, very excited about this one. And I hope this overview gives you some kind of idea on what Blockera does and how it could fit your workflow as well. Maybe this is a very good alternative if you don't want to use your default page builder like Elementor or Bricks Builder and want something more integrated within the core blocks. Is it got your point? So thank you, Ollie, for making the video and for being here in the live stream. And yeah, very excited to see how this evolves. Now, for the next things, I want to talk about the weekly roundup. And the weekly roundup are things that I've been doing or seeing the last couple of weeks. We had last week that got me very excited. Let's see, how can I do this in a very smart way? Let's just copy this in because, yeah, I want to share my screen for this as well. You're so much welcome. I feel honored that you reached out and want me to take a look at it. And you're doing a great job, so you deserve these kinds of exposures. Now, I'm not a very big YouTuber, but I hope it helps you out. And if I can help you out with any kind of video whatsoever, let me know and let's have a conversation about it, because yeah, I'm just loving the product. It feels right. It feels like something that I was searching for a couple of months back, actually. So thank you for joining, Andy. But let's continue. So this week I've been watching a video about the container queries to understand how this works. Because in our last live stream, we tried to create something. Let's see if I can find it. Preview. I hope I didn't throw it away. Let's see if it is in here then. Preview. Yeah, this is the one. So let's live stream. We created a block that I couldn't make during a live stream from Bridge Builders, and I showed how I wanted this to show. I wanted to use the grids just to make an easy card that is also very good in the structure. So not using Flexbox, because that's just a dirty way of using it, if you ask me. This feels more right to me, at least. But I want to enhance this, because on different breaking points, I want this to show a little bit different. For instance, when there's a lot of space right here, but what if we can reorder the places where everything is according to the size it is that is available? And that can be done with something called container queries, but also autofill, I mean. But I wasn't able to test it out. So I looked into this video, which explains how container queries can be used, and does it in a very nice way. It also shows what happens and how you can set it up. So hopefully I will have a demo next week on how to use the container queries. If you want to take a look at it, then there's a link in the chats right now that could help you out. So I will be testing that one out, and hopefully it can help you as well to understand what the container queries are. Because instead of using the viewport as a size of measurement of how large something needs to be, it does that for itself. So its own container. And in this case, the container is this div, right? Or we can set it up as card. So it will be this card. Discarded. So I need to experiment a little bit more with it. I tried it out on Copan, but I couldn't get it to work. It was such a tough thing. And here you can see me experimenting with it. So if there's one card, it turns blue. If there's two cards, it turns blue. If we remove it, then it should turn red. Yeah, so it does turn red. But if there are two columns, so it is half of the max size, it should turn pink. And when I try that one out, it doesn't work. So I need to experiment a little bit more to understand how this works. But I think this can be very interesting, especially when you have something like a testimonial, like you see right here, where you can have a different styling if there's just one testimonial. But if there's another testimonial, you can go in a completely different way, especially with using grids. So I will be experimenting a little bit more with this in the next couple of days. I love, by the way, CSSing and trying things out in CSS. It's just amazing. Let's see, let's close those. Sorry for research. It's no worries, Jimmy. I have the same thing on Fridays, right? I love that you joined, and enjoy your evening, by the way. So have a great evening, and catch you all on the next one, right? Beautiful, sexy people. Next up, I looked at this video from Hyperplexed that shows how you can create a dynamic thumbnail. It was very interesting. It's using the API where you can change the color or the amount of the progress bar the progress bar in this case being, let's see, this section right here. This is completely made with API calls. So it uses something to build up the image and then uploads it to YouTube. And this is then what you see. And now we can interact with it by pressing this. And as you can see, the bar will slowly go up and then it will be reflected here every 5 minutes, he explains in his video. So it's a very nice video that I highly can recommend to check out as well. It is a very nice video on how you can use API keys to do something funky. There was also an announcement by the CEO for YouTube that there are some big changes coming in 2025 to YouTube. And the key things that I took away was integration of new ways where you can work together with brands. For instance, if you're just starting out as a YouTube channel, it can be very helpful to have a way of working with brands. And if YouTube solves that, that will be very nice. Another way is that courses tab will be added. I already saw that a few months back on Kevin Powell's channel, that suddenly a courses tab was there. So that will be a way for people to make courses and to host it on YouTube, giving you a small part of commission. I can imagine that in the future they want a bigger chunk of commission for hosting the videos on and courses on YouTube, but for now it's not that high, at least that's what they say. Also, they are looking to integrate AI more. AI that empowers creators, for instance, having auto dubbing or having the video editing part. So instead of creating a whole video for you, it will try to help you enhance it. This is also with the inspiration. If you're looking for inspiration on what to create in a YouTube video, then this feature could help you out in the future. So I'm very excited about that one as well. You cannot use the calc function on the container queries. That is the limitation. I see. So the calc was... Thank you. That's something that that perhaps is the issue. But we saw you working in the Copan, right? So I don't know if that's the case. But yeah, anyway, I will check it out in as an experiment. By the way, if you want to follow me on Copan as well, you're free to. It's Copan at Teggy's Reviews, if I remember correctly. Next from Teggy's Reviews, so you can always find me there as well. I try to be as consistent as possible to go everywhere with Teggy's Reviews. You can also see other code experiments that I'm doing with CSS and then trying to do a final result in Bricks or whatever tool is available to me. The next things I want to take a look at are things that I learned at my work. Because as I said in the intro, I am a UX designer that has gone full-time employee as a WordPress specialist. So I always did that as a hobbyist, and I'm learning a lot at this in this point in time. One thing that I learned today, are actually two things that I learned today, was a way to explore what a brand would like their website to look like. So what the example was is that then one version of a website is shown that is very simplistic with using monochromatic colors, and another one with a lot of colors. And then the question was, having these two outer choices, which one do you prefer the most? 0 being the simpler one and 10 being the more color one. And where do you think in a scale of 0 to 10 would fit your brand the best and helps also your audience? So you need to understand what your audience wants. They also did the same thing with the simple or a very expressive design, and also for a hierarchy or a very structured website with a lot of blogs and articles, or a more storytelling way. that was very interesting to see. They also introduced me to a new framework that I never heard of, the See, Think, Do framework, where the first part of your website, like your hero section, is the See part. So it is used to get your attention, and the audience needs to, or the visitor, audience on YouTube, so it's audience, but the visitor understands if the place where he is right for them, and it needs to create some interest and curiosity for them to scroll further downwards. Then you have the Think. It helps people understand after the hero section how you're going to solve their problem or add value in any way or make it discoverable what you're actually offering. And then lastly, you have Do. So that is the call to action. All right, this is the next step I want you to do if you are visiting my website. Maybe you can show prices on your website and then have there the prices and then have a call to action. All right, you need to buy now, or you book a call with me. So it was very awesome to see Think, Do framework. Other things that I learned, I try to get a external API inside of the search results of WordPress, and the external API needs to be external. The reason why, there's 1.7 million items in there, and I don't want that to be in a WordPress database. It doesn't make sense, and I think it will be very heavy. So I was looking into a way of getting the search results inside of the API calls of WordPress. Now I had a solution that was somewhat working. You should use the post filter option or the get pre-post option filter to get the calls in there, but it didn't work exactly as we wanted to, but at least it's a way of showing that. And secondly, I was also working on getting a grid builder, the facet filter, to be sorted in a certain way, but I was not able to do a var dump or an echo or using query monitor to just see what kind of values are in there, because I didn't know what kind of values was in the facet, what kind of values it was in there, what the object is containing inside of the grid builder facet. So I use something visible, for me at least, that I understand what's in there, and then I can know how I can change the output and make it the way I want to. I was not able to do that, so it was a lot of searching, but in the end I got it fixed. Just a lot in between tasks, like 30 minutes thing, suddenly got fixed. So I was very happy with it. Now, besides work, I was also experimenting with a few things. From Opus Clip, I'm just releasing shorts, trying to do some little changes in Opus Clip as well. And I hope that you have seen it. If you haven't seen it, then let me show you real quick. So if you go to my channel, you will see hopefully daily clips. Let's go here. And as you can see right now, here are some recent shorts that I've been posting. And those are chunks from the live stream. And I'm using this tool called Opus Clip. And it's very easy. It's very easy to use and helps a lot. It helps a lot of speeding up how to do these kinds of things. So very happy with it. Apparently I've been using it for a year, but never actually used it. And if you ask me, it's quite affordable. I had a deal for 100 euros a year or something like that. And yeah, it makes things easier. So on the Mika, if you are looking to optimize some things, that this can be very awesome. And lastly, I've been working on a companion website as well, just like Jimmy did. And on my companion website, you can find the latest things that I've been posting. I see that shorts is also uploaded. I don't think that's the best experience, so I need to filter those out. And as you can see, here are the latest videos that have been uploaded. And if I have a little bit time for it, I try to create some kind of blog post or touch on what things are in there. Now, I'm not writing that completely myself. I'm using a tool called Video Tab that allows you to generate blogs very easily. So that's what I'm experimenting with for the last couple of days and weeks. Yeah, in the last couple of days, actually, it's not weeks. So we'll be building out this a little bit more as well. It's very gray, it's very boring, but at least there's something right now. And that's what I really love. And I guess this will be it for today. No, I also could do a live building, but I think we're almost an hour in. I think it's good enough for today. Are there any questions or yeah, AI tools make life so much easier. It's just insane. And especially those two tools, because live streams are like an hour long, like just like this one. And it just takes a lot of time if you need to cut it up yourself, do some little bit of editing, adding in the subtitles as well, and then having it all recreate some posts and that sort of thing. It's stupid. I don't like AI taking my name, but besides that, I'm okay with it. Nice. It's fine, Thomas. Maybe I should set something up that people can be more aware of. Jimmy is missing out. You're also missed it. Would you be interested in some kind of email service, or how could I make your life a little bit easier? Yeah, very, very awesome. Oh, by the way, before I forget it, I'm also reading this book. Now, I'm not much of a reader, but I want this YouTube thing to be more serious, and this book will possibly help you out in creating a more attractive sponsor. I've just read the first chapter, and the first chapter is painting the picture that he has gone through specifically himself. And then you have the STP framework that you can use in your about section or whatsoever to make it easy for people to understand what you're actually doing. And he calls it surprising transformative promise, surprising that something is unique, transformative that the outcome is focused, and promise it's not about you, it's about your audience, right? Here's an example: helping you find petite outfits to look and feel your best. With helping you, that's the promise, because you're helping them find. And then petite outfits, it's surprising because it's small outfits too. And then look at feel your best. That's the transformative thing that they are promising. So for me, that will be teaching you how to create better websites. I don't know. I think I need to do something about YouTube as reminders. I didn't set it up. I see. It's fine. You can always rewatch, right? I think most of the people actually rewatch because we're now 6 watchers in, something like that, and usually a week later there's 100 people looking this afterwards. But yeah, I guess that's it. What I wanted today to do. Yeah, I know that I needed to leave earlier. And this is it, what I wanted to share for today. If you have some tips for my companion website or whatever, please let me know in the description down below, because perhaps I can introduce some things that could be very helpful. And I don't know anything, so at least that's my assumption, right? I thank you all for joining, and I will catch you all on the next one. And as always, keep designing. I have to awkwardly press the end broadcast button somewhere. Let's see. Bye-bye.